I'm Liz Hill. Welcome to Podsnappery. This video podcast explores things that I find interesting, unusual, or annoying. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. And I get it. The name, right? Confused? Podsnappery is an English word from circa 1870, referring to a person with a willful determination to ignore the objectionable or inconvenient, at the same time assuming airs of superior virtue and noble resignation. Now, I'm sure you can think of several people who fit this description today, and we are going to talk about them. But we are going to push the boundaries a bit and show that it doesn't always refer solely to a person. In fact, we are daring to suggest podsnappery as a noun. To that point, it's February, and you know what that means.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
No, we are coming up on Valentine's Day, or technically Saint Valentine's Day, and not too much is really known about the saint or the holiday. So I've asked my friend and expert Holly Day to join me for a deeper dive into Valentine's Day. Thank you for joining me today, Holly.
Thank you for having me. Wow, a graphic and everything? I'm honored.
So, Holly, today we are talking about Valentine's Day. So let's dive into it. Where did it come from? How did we get here?
Those are some excellent questions. Let's start at the beginning.
A very good place to start.
Although Valentine's Day shares its name with a martyred Christian saint, it is believed to have begun with Lupercalia, an ancient pagan festival held each year in Rome between February 13th and 15th.
Lupercalia. Interesting. What can you tell us about Lupercalia?
Well, it's very unlike Valentine's Day. Lupercalia was a bloody, violent, sexually charged celebration awash with animal sacrifice, random matchmaking, and coupling in the hopes of warding off evil spirits and infertility.
Sounds like college kids on spring break. Have you ever seen The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? I remember seeing a reference to Lupercalia in an episode. Roll it.
Final night of the Lupercalia.
Yes, I remember that as well, but it's pretty loosely based.
Right. Made for Netflix, and they had to make it fit with the series. So what's the real origin story?
No one truly knows the exact origin of Lupercalia, but it's been traced back as far as the 6th century BCE. According to Roman legend, the ancient king Amulius ordered Romulus and Remus, his twin nephews and founders of Rome, to be thrown into the Tiber River to drown, in retribution for their mother's broken vow of celibacy.
Harsh. So much for family gatherings.
Right? A servant took pity on them, however, and placed them in a basket on the river instead.
Wasn't this a scene from the Ten Commandments? I often wonder where the men who wrote the Bible got their ideas from.
Yeah, there definitely is a "where have I heard that before" quality to the part of the legend, but it quickly diverts. The river god carried the basket and the brothers downriver to a wild fig tree where it became caught in the branches. The brothers were then rescued and cared for by a she-wolf in a den at the base of the Palatine Hill, where Rome was founded. The twins were later adopted by a shepherd and his wife and learned their father's trade. After killing the uncle who ordered their death...
What?
I'm sorry. You mean to say these kids not only survived, but they avenged themselves by killing their uncle?
Yes.
The king?
Yes.
What, were his guards on vacation that day?
I know, right? They then found the den of the she-wolf who nurtured them and named it Lupercal. It's thought Lupercalia took place to honor the she-wolf and please the Roman fertility god Lupercus. Lupercus was worshipped by shepherds as the protector of their flocks against wolves and also a promoter of fertility among sheep.
Wow, he's a handsome devil. Let's take a quick break with a few words from our sponsor.
Cat 09. Feeling sassy?
Ooh.
Saucy and savvy? Need to spice up your life at sea? Do you have an insolent crew member or an entire crew of men begging to be punished? How about that woman accused of witchcraft? Or prisoner you need to break? Try Cat 09. These state-of-the-art whips are sure to have your man screaming for his mommy. And for your land-dwelling lot, try our new Landlubbers line, featuring whips made of 100% pure cotton and made special just for Valentine's Day. Our new extra soft silk whips. Cat 09. If you can't take a hit, don't be on a ship.
And we're back. So, I feel like we are a million miles away from long stem roses and heart-shaped boxes of candy right now. Please connect the dots for me.
Okay, so in ancient Rome, from February 13th to 15th, they would celebrate the feast of Lupercalia. This could be a variety of things, we're not entirely sure. So an animal sacrifice would be made, usually a goat, maybe two, and a dog sometimes. A group of men and boys were anointed in the sacrificial blood. They then used the goat's skin to make loincloths and whips, which they used to whip women because they believed it would make them more fertile. I'm sensing a theme here.
Bet you didn't see that coming.
Kinky.
Maybe for some. For others, not so much. It has been said that there would then be a lottery where the women's names would be drawn and they'd be matched with the men who drew their name for the rest of the festival. It would either end in marriage or they'd try again next year.
How did we get from this public fuck fest to Valentine's Day?
Well, we'll get there, but first, let's go back to the Bible.
If we must.
Valentine apparently was a very popular name among the saints of yesteryear, as history records at least 3 by that name.
So there was definitely more than one.
Based on several accounts about the details regarding his life and exploits, it is possible. The conclusions offer the possibility of multiple Saint Valentines. First, there was the account of a priest who was imprisoned for ministering to Christians in the 3rd century before Christianity became a predominant religion. He allegedly gave sight to a blind girl who may have been the daughter of his jailer and sent her a note signed "Your Valentine" before he was martyred on February 14th in 270 AD.
Ah, I see. That's where written Valentines came from.
Yes, in a way, yes.
So he sent the first Hallmark card.
But there are also stories about a bishop of Tyranny, a town in central Italy. During that same time period, he secretly married Christian couples to help husbands evade enlistment in Rome's pagan army. He supposedly cut hearts from parchment paper to give to the men to remind them of their vows and God's love. Needless to say, this story ends the same way, with Saint Valentine's death on February 14th.
Wow, multiple Valentines. Not what I want when I think of multiple. Know what I'm saying?
So, we don't really know, but Valentine was a pretty common name back then, so it could be 2 different men, or it might be various tales of the same man.
Wow, the Catholic Church being vague and nebulous. Who'd have thought it?
Either way, This led to the Feast of St. Valentine on February 14th, which Pope Gelasius used to replace Lupercalia in 496 AD as a way to expel the pagan rituals.
Sounds a lot like what the church did for Halloween and Christmas, appropriating pagan festivals and converting them with a Christian context. So, how did he change this one?
Basically, he took it from a drunken, naked revelry to a still drunk yet clothed celebration of love and fertility.
Okay, but there's still one thing I don't get.
And what's that?
The holiday symbolizing romantic love is named for two priests.
Well, as it should be, right? As long as they behave themselves, as all priests and bishops are supposed to do.
Amazing.
Moving ahead to the 14th and 15th centuries, the day started to become associated with romantic and courtly love similar to spring's lovebirds. Some historians attribute this to Geoffrey Chaucer, an English poet.
Oh, I actually know this. Parliament of Fowls. It has that line about St. Valentine's Day being the day for a bird to choose their mate. For this was on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate.
Wow. Yes. Somewhere around the late 1300s. This inspired nobles to write love letters known as Valentines to their love interests. Around 1599, Shakespeare's Hamlet made a direct connection between St. Valentine's Day and being someone's Valentine.
Hamlet, Act 4, Scene 5. Ophelia was quite mad at that point in the play.
Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the money big time, and I have made at your window to be your Valentine.
Exactly. Now, by the 18th century, English and American couples started to celebrate the holiday in a way that resembles what we do today. Flowers and sweets and greeting cards with hearts.
But at the time, the cards were handmade, right?
Yes, but people soon began to capitalize on the holiday.
Right. It is the ultimate Hallmark holiday.
In the 1840s, Esther A. Howland began selling Valentines in America in mass quantities, earning her the moniker Mother of the Valentine. Her cards would feature lace, ribbons, pictures, and were the cheaper option than importing cards from overseas. This opened the floodgates of Valentine's Day merchandising in both America and England. Cadbury's introduced a heart-shaped box of chocolates in the 1860s.
What about those sweethearts with the little sayings on them?
The infamous conversation candies. Those were developed in 1866, but the candies did not become heart-shaped until around 1902. They were originally discs made of lozenge dough. The words were printed on the candy with vegetable dye during the cutting process.
Okay. As long as we're talking about candy, how about the Hershey's Kiss?
Right. Hershey's struck sweet gold in 1907 with Hershey's Kisses. Strangely enough, that same year, Hallmark Cards was founded.
Coincidence or conspiracy?
Coincidence. Hallmark was founded in 1907, but only started selling Valentine's Day gift cards in 1910. However, it was the decline in popularity of postcards that led them towards the creation of Valentine's Day cards in 1913.
I get it. Blame it on the decline of the postcard. Thanks, email. But seriously, this is getting more and more into commercialization, right? Here we go from a pagan festival to martyrdom to love notes to mass producing candy and cards.
Of course. And there was pushback to the holiday's rapid commercialization even then. similar to anti-Valentine's Day sentiments today.
Love stinks! Yeah, yeah!
What stinks?
Love stinks! Yeah, yeah!
Love stinks?
Love stinks! Yeah, yeah!
So, like today, major companies pushed everything from cakes to pajamas to lingerie for a quick buck.
And famed diamond company De Beers also launched its A Diamond is Forever campaign in 1948 to connect quality jewelry with an expression of love.
And timing is everything with commercialism, right? Give a little time after Christmas to recoup some finances, then reach back into those wallets.
Valentine's Day fell at a perfect time to entice viewers who had finally built back up some post-Christmas reserves. Looking back today, one of the things that really stands out to me are the promotional materials themselves. They heavily center on white heterosexual couples or white women. Those that did feature people of color didn't even use actual human beings. Instead, they leaned towards caricatures or depicting harmful and racist stereotypes.
How were these caricatures depicted? Were we talking TV at this point or print ads?
They were everywhere. And honestly, I can't in good conscience show them.
That bad?
Worse. Anyway, the popularity of TV in the 1950s through the 1970s didn't really have a profound effect on Valentine's Day. I brought an early clip from 1968 so you can sort of see what I'm talking about.
This is going to be the kissingest Valentine's Day ever, because Scope Mouthwash is going to give away millions of free samples and coupons to make this a Valentine's Day to remember. You see, Scope, first thing in the morning, makes your breath feel fresher for hours. And after Valentine's Day, keep buying Scope. Who says the kissing has to end on Valentine's Day? Scope.
But in the 1980s, companies like Hallmark began to really put stock into Valentine's Day commercials.
Okay, so we have a Hallmark commercial from, I think, 1985, and it's exactly what you described, extra cheesy. Take a look.
The Valentine store has surprising ways to say that you care on Valentine's Day, and they're all right here at Hallmark. We got state cards, silly cards, funny cards, frilly cards, old cards, new cards, whoop-de-doo cards, lots of love at Hallmark, the Valentine store.
Valentine's Day is Thursday the 14th, and Hallmark has over 1,000 surprising new Valentines.
When you care enough to send the very best, come find love at Hallmark, the Valentine store.
Exactly. It was reflective of shifting social attitudes with some diversity and no blatant racism in the mix.
But we still had a long way to go compared to today.
Agreed. In 1986, Hershey's Kisses began to lean more into the holiday by offering candies in pink and red foil.
And the M&Ms started to be featured as well. Let's look at a few more early ads.
The Motorola flip phone.
From Cantel Amigo.
It's the perfect gift.
For the one you love.
I got your Valentine's email. With the surprise points. I'm putting mine toward jewelry.
Good.
Got your surprise points getting lingerie.
Oh, boy.
Chocolate.
Hi. Come on in.
Kmart loves its Shop Your Way members, so we're giving away surprise points. Go to shopyourway.com and check your account.
Kmart. Get in, get more love.
Honey, where do we keep the... Oh, my... This isn't the chocolate I sent you for Valentine's Day, is it?
Huh, look at that.
Huh. You never opened it? Oh, my...
Bathroom.
This never happened.
Now, Valentine's Day has become one of the most commercialized holidays in America. I mean, we literally call it a Hallmark holiday.
It is the subject of TV episodes and films. And did you know it was the inspiration behind YouTube?
Really?
Believe it. YouTube was founded on February 14th, 2005. Yes, on Valentine's Day, as a dating website called Tune In Hookup.
Tune in and hook up? How long did that name last?
Until March 2005.
Less than a month? About as long as the relationships lasted.
Pretty much. Now there are multiple Hallmark channels playing cheesy love movies.
Still not what I want when I hear multiple.
I'll have what she's having.
The biggest uptick in commercializing of the holiday happened when companies began leaning into social media marketing.
Well, with streaming services offering lots of rom-coms and dramatic love stories, who could blame them?
As annoying as the marketing bombardment may be, it has made significant strides in recent years. Now people from different racial and cultural backgrounds and non-heterosexual romantic relationships are in the advertisements and on the cards too.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I have a 2019 ad from India, I believe, but it illustrates your point beautifully.
You know, I never liked Valentine's Day. हर जगह roses or balloons, TV पर सिर्फ rom-coms, all those cutesy couples and all that pink and red. Romance, candlelit dinners, मुझे इसमें से कुछ भी पसंद नहीं था. But not because I didn't have anyone to celebrate with. In fact, मुझे Valentine's Day पसंद नहीं था because I had someone. Someone who understands me, who shares my life, and who I love very much. But we had to hide our love, like it wasn't love at all. और Valentine's Day सिर्फ इस बात का एक रिमाइंडर था. पर इस साल, it's going to be different. हम लोग वो सारी stupid romantic चीजें करने वाले हैं, जो लोग Valentine's Day पे करते हैं. Roses, balloons, gifts, और हाँ, एक खास candlelit dinner.
Never seen that. It's nice to see some progress happening, but I think we still have a long way to go.
And that's no cap. Thank you, Holly, for being here today. So much good information. I hope we can get you back again to do a different topic soon.
Well, you did make me a graphic, so...
True. So I guess we better get you back on soon.
I look forward to it. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Notice the color, the aroma, a nice roundness to its mouthfeel. Aromatic, never bitter. Sweet vanilla and mellowed oak with a welcoming amount of heat. That is the quintessential bourbon. Blackened Barn, the quintessential bourbon.
With all the advertising and all the products being pushed for Valentine's Day, how much money do you think is getting thrown around? Well, according to Wallet Hub, people will spend an average of $192.80 for Valentine's Day 2023. So if my math is right, it comes close to $25.9 billion.
Ka-ching!
So long gone are the days where people wrote heartfelt letters or gave simple gifts. Whether you hate it or love it, looks like Valentine's Day is here to stay and probably won't get any less commercial anytime soon. So, willful determination to ignore the objectionable or inconvenient at the same time assuming airs of superior virtue and noble resignation. I'd say rampant commercialism and the Catholic Church's perpetually covering up pagan holidays fits our definition. And that, my friends, is Podsnappery. Thanks for watching. I'm Liz Hill. Money can't buy happiness, but it sure makes misery easier to live with.